Alright Gooners and Goonettes, I finally got time to make a follow-up video on Hoyoverse XPs. If you watched part 1, you already know the deal. Hoyoverse doesn't reuse characters, they reincarnate trauma across the multiverse. Different worlds, different names, same face. Different face, same name, all the same emotional damage. Last time we looked at the XPs of Squad 5 throughout the Honkai multiverse. This time we're moving on to the mentally unstable, the morally questionable, and why does this woman keep ruining children's lives across the multiverse? And yes, I will be talking about Honkai Impact 3rd, Gakuen 2, also known as Gun Girl Z, Genshin Impact, and Star Rail, because if I don't, someone named Zayla420 will correct me with a 12-page Google Doc. So we got Cocolia, and Signora. In Impact 3rd and Gakuen 2, Cocolia is an ex-Soviet assassin who believes humanity cannot survive unless it forcibly evolves, which leads her to do evil shit like experiment on children in her orphanage. Her role is much bigger in Gakuen 2, who retired as a Soviet soldier due to her having to kill a little girl's mom, causing major PTSD. So she left, got married, and had a daughter, who then died during the second eruption, leading her to become obsessed with avenging her daughter. She also doesn't betray Welt in this one like in Impact 3rd, because Welt in this universe is also kind of evil. And she's the reason why everyone dies at the end, including her. Now enters Star Rail's Cocolia. She's not an assassin or a scientist, she's a politician. Star Rail Cocolia is the supreme guardian of Belobog, manipulated by the Stellaron into believing that destroying her world and creating a new one in her image was the only option for survival, thus leading to her blowing herself up. In short, Impact 3rd Cocolia sacrifices children for survival, Gakuen 2 Cocolia sacrifices everyone for her child, Star Rail Cocolia sacrifices everyone for survival. Now we have La Signora. Although she's not a direct variant of Cocolia, plot and design-wise she shares many similarities and assets. Originally Rosaline Lohefalter, she lost her lover during the Cataclysm. Instead of processing grief like a normal person, she set herself on fire to sustain her rage. Her goals aligned with the Tsaritsa's plan to burn away the old world and create a new one, not ruled by the heavenly principles, which is similar to Cocolia's goals. However, Cocolia dies thinking she mattered, Signora dies knowing she didn't. Zayla is murderous anxiety personified. In Honkai Impact 3rd and Gakuen 2, Seele Vollerei is a sweet cinnamon roll who doesn't want to hurt anyone and loves her big sister Bronya. But in Impact 3rd, she shares her body with Veliona, her violent shadow personality who absolutely wants to kill people. Veliona is not a separate person, she is Zayla's repressed fear, rage, and self-hatred given a voice and a scythe. Zayla's entire character arc is about accepting herself instead of being afraid of what she could become. This isn't just edgy anime shit, this is literal Jungian psychology but with a scythe. Zayla is not a fighter because she wants to be, she fights because MiHoYo said character development is mandatory. Now we have Star Rail Zayla, whose design is based off of Zayla from the Firemoth DLC, which was the non-canon sequel to Retrospective. This Zayla is literally if you put normal Zayla and Veliona's personality in a blender. Essentially Veliona but with assassin murder watered down. But the most important thing you gotta know is that they all love their Bronya. There's Yae Sakura, Yae Miko, and Evanisha. These three are hot pink hair fox girl samurais, and this one is a hot mommy shrine maiden that constantly edges you. Starting with Yae Sakura, there's the previous era Yae Sakura and the current era Yae Sakura. Previous era Sakura is a flame chaser who loved her little sister Rin, who was also the unawoken Hersher of corruption. Paranoid soldiers from Firemoth killed Rin while she was in captivity, causing the Hersher to spread throughout the base, turning soldiers into zombies. Sakura then went on a killing spree until her body gave out and died. Current era Sakura is a shrine maiden in Japan who loved her little sister Rin and took care of her, until her father forced her to kill Rin as a sacrifice, making her hate everyone and everything. Until Colin Kaslana came into her life, did some scissoring, allowing her to finally be happy. Until she got corrupted by this era's Hersher of corruption, forcing Colin to seal her away. Now enter Genshin Impact Yae Miko. She's not tragic, she's already processed that arc. Instead of internalizing pain, she externalizes it through trolling. She's a shrine maiden who's best friends with her nation's goddess and owns a company that may or may not publish smut. And Evanisha is literally just a piece of wood that became sentient because Aha felt silly. She's more of a troll than this one. Some people have theorized that she's actually Rin in this universe because of her personality, but I don't know. Let her be happy. For once. Venti and Wendy, Archon of the Wind and Hersher of the Wind. Wendy is a young girl who just wants freedom, while Venti is an alcoholic fucktard that abuses his freedom. As a young Valkyrie, Teresa considered Wendy to be her best student, with the potential to become an S-rank Valkyrie until she had the Gem of Desire implanted in her, causing her to be paralyzed from the waist down. Otto then had his scientists experiment on her, which caused her to be more hateful to Schicksal. Later, Cocolia kidnapped her, ripped the gen out of her body to power her big robot, then died. Venti, on the other hand, was an elemental wisp that was given some divine powers by a hot time goddess for some reason. Helped a rebellion overthrow another god who was kind of a dick, took the form of his dead bard friend to honor his memory, become the new god of his territory, terraformed the land using the wind by pushing mountains and snow into the ocean, then fucks off every couple thousand years or so because he believes that people should rule themselves and not because he's too lazy to govern or something like that. And every time he comes back, he just drinks himself to sleep. Wendy wanted freedom. She wanted to fly. She wanted to be loved. That's it. Instead, she was captured, experimented on, turned into a Hersher, then killed. She represents stolen freedom. Wendy never gets a choice. Venti only chooses. Raven, Natasha, and Arlecchino. All mommies, but one of them will make you call them daddy and the other one will make you call her master. Raven, whose real name is Natasha Chwara, is a terrorist mercenary who works at Jormungandr and has definitely committed war crimes, but draws the line at children. She runs an orphanage, taking in children who lost their parents to the Honkai, protects them violently, and accepts that she will never be forgiven for some reason. In the Captain verse, she adopted Branya, or Brony in this one, instead of Cocolia. She is survival mommy incarnate. Natasha from Star Rail, on the other hand, is a doctor running an underground clinic in Belobog's underworld, and the leader of a militia called Wildfire. She also runs an orphanage like the other Natashas. She heals instead of kills, but according to her resume, she was a part of an expeditionary team which I'm assuming went outside the city into the tundra, so there's probably more to her. Let's not forget, she was willing to delete Svarog then and there. I mean, look at that face. And also, I see that outfit under that lab coat. You can't hide it from me. Finally, we got Arlecchino. She runs an orphanage. That alone should terrify you. She isn't a direct variant of Natasha, but her character strongly echoes through her. And she wore this outfit one time, so you can kinda see the resemblance. As one of the Fatui Harbingers, she's definitely committed some war crimes herself. However, she still finds time to take in and protect orphans. In addition, she also trains them into warriors. And although she shows a very cold, unfeeling exterior, she has proven many times that she very much cares for all her orphans, and will do anything to protect them. Just like all the Natashas. Basically, edgy mommy, war crimes, orphans. Kafka doesn't really have a real XP since the Kafka in Impact 3rd was just a stigmata and not a character in the story. For those who don't know, stigmata as a game mechanic are essentially what light cones are in Star Rail or craft essence in FGO. And Kafka was a splash art character in a stigmata set. Though the character of Kafka probably existed in Honkai Impact since Impact 3rd turns all historical figures into hot women, like what Fate does. And Kafka being a gender-bent version of Franz Kafka, the author of Metamorphosis, which is about a guy that turns into a beetle or some shit. And is also why Kafka in one of the splash arts have a rhinoceros beetle on her desk. Rappa is also in the same case with Ishikawa Goemon, another gender-bent historical figure on a stigmata splash art, though this one is more of a reach. And finally, Katarina and Shub-Nigurath. Yeah, that Shub-Nigurath. The one made by my favorite racist H.P. Lovecraft. I love Asian ignorance. In both of their very brief appearance, they've shown to not only have the same face card but literally the same hot-headed, violent personality. Katarina was a member of the Annihilation Gang, who wanted to attack Penacony on her own. Wonder if she's still alive. Meanwhile, Shub-Nigurath was an A-rank Valkyrie that served with Kiana's parents during the Second Eruption. Shub's squad was one of the first Valkyries that absolutely got slimed by Siren, leaving her as the only survivor. She then trained relentlessly so that she could avenge them, even going as far as challenging Kiana's mom, the strongest Valkyrie at the time, a fight she immediately lost. Later, she is seen to be part of Siegfried's squad when Schicksal's army marched to fight Siren. But when Cecilia and Siegfried were sent to the Shadow Realm by Siren, her dragon Benares then wreaked havoc, leaving Shub and Kira the only ones left to deal with her. Both of them weren't enough, so as a last-ditch effort, Shub railed Benares from behind and unleashed crippling vibrations that tore them both apart. We then see a dying Shub-Nigurath, telling her dead teammates to wait for her, as the Daughter of Chaos drew her last breath. By the way, this one is a different character who just goes by Nigurath, which is way worse to be honest. And she's a Sugars whose human form resembles that of Shub, but without the red hair. Alright, that's it for part 2. For the next part, we'll cover China. Please like and sub and let me know who your favorite XPs are down below. Bye. Maybe I should just, call her Nigurath. Yeah, Roth. Instead of, no, that's not even the... I could just, because if I just pause, like, the first few words like most people do, it sounds worse, like Urath.
Urath?
I don't know, maybe Urath.
Urath.
I don't know. I just call her Shubby, but this one doesn't have that. I hope she changes her name or never comes back. But wait, she's the Sugars who brought Welt and Void Archives to Star Rail. Oh no.